Troy Dooley, the Beachside CEO, and I hope that your Monday has been as fantastic as mine. I tell you what, I've been on the phone. Well, actually, it started out with private message. Freddie Sheets, my tattoo artist, and I were on some conversations going on, and then I had clients calling, and then I had some venture capitalists calling. It's just been a crazy, wonderful Monday as we push into this week. And, you know, I didn't get a chance to do a video today. So I'm sitting there as I'm investing. We bought some new stocks today. I mean, it's just been a phenomenal day for some of this. And then I started realizing, wait a minute, man, I'm seeing this social media crap again. And it's sad, actually, because I see fear running rampant. And I started going back through some of my posts here on Facebook. And a week or so ago, I posted 98% should survive who contract coronavirus. And everybody wanted to talk about the 2%. And now we're seeing reports coming out that are backing up that claim. It was actually kind of funny because people wanted to start dissing the messenger. At that time, it was Dr. Ben Carson. Now we're seeing major universities across the globe. Now and then we see oil futures for May just plummeted today to a negative $37 because there's such a glut in the marketplace. There's more oil being pumped from everywhere, anywhere. Russia and Saudi Arabia are fighting over this crap, you know. But yet the positive side to that is that all the airlines who usually Southwest Airlines started this years ago, they buy their oil contracts in the future, so they're always negotiating prices. Going to be a great time for them to get oil right now, so that when they get back into the air, prices could stay low for a while. Future at the gas pump could be low. But then people will say, oh my gosh, we're going into a recession. We're going into hyper deflation. We're going to go into major, just total trash. And I don't know if we will or not. And here's why I say that. What's more important to me isn't oil prices. What's more important to me isn't even the 91,000 that are dead. I can't bring them back. What's important is as I start really looking at the aftermath of some crazy virus, I see the aftermath of what the whole world has done. Some of them have gone into this safe at home lockdown. Others of them have gone into the herding type deal, kind of like what we used to do with chicken pox and stuff like that. But it's what we aren't hearing much about. We hear that in New York it's awful and that the hospitals are overloaded, and POTUS talks about all the portable hospitals they built, and they talk about the ships that we brought in. And yet I found some reports over on citylimits.org, which is not the most conservative website, and over 16 hospitals have been closed down just since we implemented the national health care stuff. And it's a great article that really explains some of the intricate details of all this that none of us are looking at. The suicide hotlines have shot up over 300%. Children who had volatile parents who got to go off to school for 6, 7, 8 hours a day. Their parents would go to work. They're all now stuck at home. And the accounting of child abuse and domestic abuse is on the rise. They say divorce rates are going to shoot through the roof. We see protests now exploding because people are sick and tired of the stupidity. People don't care about staying at home. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's the ignorance of those that are in authority out of fear just craft some of the dumbest, stupid deals. They don't think. Fear is what's driving the pandemonium right now. You see people that are being arrested because they attend church in their car. And I'm a firm believer in common sense. I believe we all need to use our common sense. I see people on social media that are so ignorant that they want to blame POTUS. They want to blame the Republicans. They want to blame the Democrats. They want to blame POTUS Obama. They wanted to. I saw a guy the other day saying Clinton started all this. Y'all are just stupid. There isn't even another word to describe the ignorance on some of this. There is a virus. We all kind of know there's a virus there. That's been no debatable issue. We can debate where the virus came from. Did it come from a weapon, a biological weaponized virus? Was it a mistake? Was it an accident? What's some of the other stuff I've seen? The CIA was over in Wuhan and they were taking it. They were going to bring it back here so that they could fight the Venezuelans. This is the new one that came out. And somebody dropped it after 12 people were dead. It's like, man, I'm pretty sure I saw that movie too. There's just ignorant stuff right now that people are saying and doing. And it's because of fear. There's nothing, just fear. And some of what I've seen where people have said, I don't give a rat's butt about all this. I'm just going to go do what I've always done. And who cares? I'm not sure that's pretty smart either. I think that's out of fear. Okay, fear that if you stay at home, you might go crazy. Most of this is driven by fear. And all it takes is some common sense to think through some of this. I can drive up and down the shores of Destin. And I can tell you right now, tourism sucks because we don't have any tourists. But I see people riding their bikes, getting healthy. I see people at work, okay, because they are what I call first responders. They're working at Walmart, they're working at Publix, they're working at the gas station, they're working at the hospitals. I see law enforcement. I see construction workers. A lot of the economy is still up and running. The main portion of the economy is up and running. The part of the economy that has driven the American population for over 240 freaking years, probably the whole 400 and some odd years we landed on these shores, is still up and running. Everything that you actually need to survive is up and running. Not only that, but this stupid cockamamie unemployment number that there's 22 million people filed for unemployment. Well, heck, if I could get an unemployment check that paid me $600 more than what I was working, I'd probably file for unemployment too. But here's the sidetrack to that, okay? Amazon is hiring over 100,000 people. Walmart is hiring. Target has been hiring. CVS is hiring. Most of Main Street America is hiring. Now, don't get me wrong here. This is killing the small business, and it pisses me off. It really does. I think restaurants should be allowed to open. They shouldn't have to be trying to work with this pick up the order. First of all, that is incongruent in and of itself. You tell me I need to stay at home so I can be safe, but then you tell me it's okay to go out and pick up food. Seriously? I mean, there's some common sense. I think in banks, we're going to see bank tellers behind plastic again, except it'll probably be bulletproof plastic. We're going to see people that are going to wash their hands more. That's cool. Do you realize the stories that aren't being followed like they should be is the fact that in less than a 24-hour period, we watched some of the greatest distilleries in America flip from just making bourbon and other spirits to making hand sanitizer. We watch clothing companies that are known for the top level brands that they have bringing out face masks. We watched automobile industry shift to start making ventilators. You don't tell me this is America. Do you realize that there are auto workers that could have been laid off, sitting around at home, and they're still working? So when you look at all of this stupid media, you let your fear run rampant. And again, there are some people that are hurting. The single mom at home because she doesn't have a daycare for her kids, who, by the way, the kids are the least prone to get this crap. And yet she can't go to work because she has nobody to watch her kids because the kids are at home instead of at school. And it's like, that don't make any sense either. Not at all. If this is a virus and we need to build up antibodies, then it would make sense that our kids should still be going to school with the teachers. And yes, we are going to spread some of the virus. There's no doubt about that. But the kids are going to pick up antibodies just like they did with the mumps, the measles, the chicken pox, period. How bad is this? I don't have a freaking clue. But I get so pissed off at seeing people yelling and hollering, saying, oh my gosh, we've had 41,000 die. If the president had done something earlier, where were the Democrats during their debates? They weren't talking about this like it was some major deal. Nobody knew. It's so easy to do 20/20 in hindsight. And there's not a person watching this video that didn't have their head up their butt either, that didn't have a clue what to do and wouldn't have a clue if you were sitting there. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican or Libertarian like I am. Doesn't matter. Y'all think you can run this country so well, and most of you can't even run your freaking life. That's why you're drunks. That's why you're getting divorced. That's why you screw around on your wife. That's why you lie and do scams on the internet. But yet you guys want to run the freaking country. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Except that y'all want attention, so you go out on the internet and you rally everybody and you excite all this crap while you're fearful and sitting at home because you're afraid to get your butt out of the house because you're afraid, oh my gosh, I might get the virus. I might get the virus. Who the heck knows? Here's what I do know. This country wasn't built on freaking fear. If y'all had been running this country back in 1775, you know what? We'd all probably still be a colony of the UK, or we'd belong to Russia, or we'd belong to China, or we'd belong to somebody else. Because all of you are letting the fear dictate what you're doing and where you're going. And there's no reason for that whatsoever. Common sense. And I'll be doggone if I'm going to let a bunch of people tell me I need to be afraid when that's not true. I've got a dear friend of mine who is going to lose her mama. Okay. Now, her mom was sick. She was having to get transfusions long before this. This didn't exacerbate it at all. She texted me the other night and said, I'm going to have to bring mama home. She's going to pass away at the house. And can you pray? Heck yeah, I can pray. People die every day. I can't help that. It just happens. When I looked at the stats that are hard to find, do you know the majority of the people that they coronavirus is the reason they died? And that's legit. Coronavirus is the reason they died. But the underlying medical issues were so large already that the coronavirus may have actually helped them pass along a little sooner than living an awful life. And that's not everybody, so don't take my words out of context. But 41,000 people have died. Where were y'all bitching and moaning whenever the abortions are there, when the drunk drivers are there? Cancer. What about the opiate addiction in this country? The sugar addiction. People that die of cancer because they're obese, because their sugars are just eating them up. The cancer is just exploding in their body. Where are you at on that case? Oh, wait a minute, Troy, that's freedom of choice. Well, all these protesters you've been seeing the last few days, that's freedom of choice too, okay? Common sense, not fear, is what should be dictating what you and your family are doing. It's that plain and simple. Because if you don't care about the people that are drinking themselves to death, if you don't care about the people that are sitting there popping pills and dying, if you don't care about all the people that are sitting there sucking down some doggone cigarette with a filter that God knows what it's made out of, and now you want to worry about a virus because somebody who's smarter than you tells you that virus can kill you. Well, guess what? So can all this other stuff. But you didn't care about that. It didn't matter to you. I could take this down to the nth degree to tell you that most of you don't even care about your rights. Do you realize that you let federal laws be passed that tells you got to wear a seatbelt? Seatbelts are great for you, and I'm not knocking that whatsoever. Okay, cars aren't made like they used to. But do you realize that you just wear a seatbelt because somebody told you it's going to save your life? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Did you ever actually do the research to know? Probably not. So you really don't know if this virus is going to kill you or not either. See where I'm going with this? You turn on the TV, no matter what TV it is. I don't care if you're watching ABC, NBC, CBS, Newsmax, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. You sit there and you watch it and it freaks you out because you think, hey, if that person on the other side of the screen is smart enough to talk to me on it, then it must be important. Okay, you're probably going to believe the weatherman tonight too when he tell you it's going to rain, you're going to have a tornado, it's going to snow, there's a hurricane coming. Fear of the unknown is what's dictating the activities in this country today. A lot of the activities across the globe. When the president gets up there with his crew and says, hey, we're going to systematically open up the economy, what do I see on the internet? People saying the president's clueless, doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to make it worse. Okay, worse was 2.5 million people. Then it was 240,000 people. Then it was maybe 100,000 people. Now it's supposed to be maybe 60,000 people. Do you realize? Just think about this. And I'm going to let y'all go. I had a great morning, and then I started on the internet, and I thought, how many ignorant people are there in the world? And you're smart as a whip. Y'all are smart. And yet you let the fear dictate where you're going, okay? Because here's what we've got. We don't have a clue how many people could die, would die, wouldn't die, no matter what it is we did. They are looking at other situations. They're trying to look at the historical facts, and they're trying to say, okay, this is what might happen. All the way back to 1917 and 1918 to say, oh my gosh, the Spanish flu killed this many people. This could happen today. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure science has come a long freaking way since the 1900s, okay? So even if we didn't do anything, I'm pretty sure they would have fired up a rapid test. They'd already have some of these vaccines going. And if y'all didn't think they already had the vaccine working, then you really are clueless. A lot of this stuff was already cranking, already going. See, there's no test that can look backwards and say, this is it. It's all subjective. Smart. I mean, computers are pretty smart as a whip, okay? But it's still a guess. And yet you're letting fear dictate your life, okay? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. N1, H1, or H1N1, however you want to say it, I don't have a clue. SARS, Ebola, everything is out there killing people. How many venereal diseases today end up killing people? How many people from AIDS die today? Remember a time when AIDS, it's like, oh my gosh, man, if a gay person looks at you, you're going to freaking die of AIDS. Run, run. Well, the truth of the matter is we found out, didn't we, that a lot of people actually have the antibodies, I think is what they call them, of HIV in their body. Just like we're finding out a lot of people have had corona. A lot of people have a lot of crap. Don't let your fear dictate what your future is going to be. And don't run around with people telling you, oh, fear is false evidence appearing real. No, there's people dying. You could die. There's like a minute chance that you could catch this and croak. But there's a verse in the Bible, and I know a lot of you people don't believe the Bible, or you like to take the Bible and just use pieces of it. Okay, I get that. I'm good with that. You do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Here's what the verse says in the Bible. God knows the hairs on my head. Now with me, that's pretty simple. Okay, that's not a hard deal. But he also knows that our days are numbered. He knows how long I'm going to live. Does that mean I can go out and do stupid stuff and live longer or cut my life shorter? I really doubt that. He already knew what was going to happen. So there's nothing that you can do. If you honestly believe the Bible, within context, I don't want to take anything out of context. I'm sure there's preachers out here far smarter than I am. But fear doesn't come from God. Chaos doesn't come from God. I do know that much. So if you really want to do something to make your life better, start working on yourself. Start digging deep inside. Start writing in a journal. Call and get some help. I don't care what you do. Start looking at why. Why does this scare the living hell out of me? Why am I letting all this crap on the TV dictate how my life is lived? Because when you start to do that, you will start to get some personal answers. Look, you may still decide to stay at home, and that's cool with me. I don't have a problem. You may have some underlying health issues. That's cool. I don't have a problem. But you need to look inside yourself at what's causing the fear. Now, when this is all said and done, there's going to be plenty of time for us to all sit around trying to second guess everything. But right now, you need to take care of yourself. You don't need to be worrying about what POTUS does, what the VP does, what the Supreme Court does, what any of those idiots in Congress do. You don't even need to be worrying too much about what your governor is or isn't doing. You need to take care of yourself. Because if you and your neighbors, you and your community will rally together to do what's best for you and your community, y'all are going to make it through this. Not without some pain, not without some hurt. But you're going to make it through this. You cannot let your fear dictate everything. You need to be cautious. I mean, listen, I got a deep understanding of military science. I understand strategies. I understand how to go in and extract people out. I understand that we're going to look at everything and we're going to build a plan that's going to give us a mitigation of the risk of death. Same thing rules here. I'm taking care of my family. I'm making sure everybody's taken care of. I'm giving them plenty of leeway to do what they want to do, though. Because I know at the end of the day, that's what's needed. I'll give you an instance. Jetty and I are out in the Baja on Saturday, and we are having a blast. And these two guys in this little hopped up foreign car, they're on the same little stretch we are. They went around the cul-de-sac, and that little teenager nailed that and lost freaking control, ended up in the ditch, trying to get out, doesn't know what to do. I did not let a stupid virus keep me in my car telling him, peace out, dude, you're on your own. I got out of the car, looked at what he did, told him what to do, got behind it, and him and his buddy, and we pushed the car up on the doggone road. Because you help your neighbor when they need help. You don't sit there and let some virus tell you, oh, no, dude, you're on your own, dude. I don't know what you're going to do back here in the middle of nowhere. Don't let your fear dictate your future. Common sense. Take a deep breath. Start journaling what you need to journal. And whether you believe the Bible or not, I don't care what you believe. There is no way under the sun that you're going to extend your life past your time to go, period. And if you want to debate that, we can debate that on another video. I don't care if you look at me and say, well, Troy, that guy's drinking himself to death. Yep, he is. He made the choice. He's drinking himself to death. And in my world, in my worldview, I believe that my God, my Jesus Christ, knew exactly what he was going to do, gave him plenty of freedom of choice to make a decision, and he didn't do it. But there wasn't a cotton-picking thing I can do except try to share with him, dude, there's a better way. You don't need the alcohol. But if he chose not to, so be it. Use common sense. But don't let fear dictate your life. I got to go get my mail and go find my family. We'll talk to you later.